My dear students, today I want to talk to you about something very important in teaching, something that every teacher struggles with and every student feels in the classroom, and that is the balance between authority and approachability. You see, when we enter a classroom as a teacher, we carry a dual responsibility. One is to lead and maintain discipline, and the other is to connect, support, and guide our students with warmth and understanding. If a teacher is only authoritative, the class may be orderly, but the students may feel distant, fearful, or disconnected. If a teacher is only approachable, students may like the teacher but lose respect, and the classroom can easily fall into chaos. So, what makes a teacher truly effective is learning how to combine both, authority that earns respect and approachability that builds trust. Think of authority as the structure, the rules, the clear boundaries that make learning possible. And think of approachability as the bridge, the openness, the humanity that makes students want to follow those rules willingly. Authority without approachability becomes harshness, and approachability without authority becomes weakness. But when they come together, they create balance, and in this balance lies the heart of effective teaching. Now, let me explain to you what authority really means in the classroom. It does not mean shouting, it does not mean threatening, it does not mean making students afraid. Real authority is built on consistency, clarity, and fairness. Students respect teachers who mean what they say, who set rules and follow them without bias, who treat every student fairly and equally. For example, if a teacher says that punctuality matters, then he or she must be punctual too. If a teacher says that respect is expected, then the teacher must also show respect to the students. Authority is not about power. It is about integrity. It is about showing students that you are reliable, that your word can be trusted. When students see that their teacher is consistent, they naturally follow the rules not because they are scared, but because they believe in that teacher's leadership. But at the same time, students, we cannot forget the other side, approachability. This is what makes a teacher human. This is what makes students comfortable asking questions, sharing their struggles, and learning without fear. An approachable teacher listens, smiles, encourages, and shows empathy. Approachability means that if a student makes a mistake, instead of humiliation, he or she receives guidance. It means that if a student is struggling, they feel safe enough to raise their hand and say, "Sir, I don't understand." Without approachability, the classroom becomes a cold place where students feel like robots, afraid to make errors. But learning is full of errors. Mistakes are the stepping stones of growth, and unless students feel free to make mistakes, they can never truly learn. That freedom comes when the teacher is approachable. So how do we balance these two sides, authority and approachability? Imagine a teacher who is like a tree. The roots of the tree are authority, strong, firm, grounding the teacher's presence in the classroom. The branches and leaves are approachability, spreading wide, giving shade, making space for students to come close. If the roots are weak, the tree falls, meaning that if authority is missing, the class collapses into disorder. But if there are no branches, the tree is lifeless, meaning that if approachability is missing, the classroom becomes rigid and students feel suffocated. Both must exist together. One practical way to balance is to set clear rules from the very beginning, but to explain those rules with kindness. For instance, a teacher may say, "In my class, we respect each other by listening when someone is speaking. If we don't, it makes learning harder for everyone." This shows authority. A clear rule is stated, but also shows approachability. The teacher explains why the rule exists and treats students with respect. Another way is in handling mistakes. An authoritative teacher might punish harshly, while an approachable teacher might ignore it completely. But a balanced teacher will address the mistake firmly. This behavior is not acceptable, and then guide the student on how to improve. "I know you can do better, and I am here to help you." That way, the student knows the teacher is serious about discipline but also supportive in growth. Remember, students, body language also plays a big role in this balance. A teacher with authority stands with confidence, makes eye contact, and speaks clearly. But a teacher with approachability smiles, nods, listens, and uses gentle gestures. Combining both creates presence, strong enough to command attention, soft enough to invite questions. Similarly, tone of voice is powerful. Too harsh, and students shut down. Too soft, and students ignore. A balanced tone is firm yet warm, serious when needed, light when the moment allows. Another part of this balance is fairness. Students can immediately sense when a teacher favors some and neglects others. Authority demands fairness, and approachability thrives on equality. If a teacher praises only the top scorers, weaker students feel invisible. But if a teacher encourages everyone, "I see your effort, I see your progress," students trust that teacher. This trust makes authority easier to maintain because students know the teacher is on their side. Let us also not forget that authority and approachability change with context. Sometimes a situation demands more authority, like stopping a fight or bringing order to a noisy class. Other times approachability is needed more, like when a student is anxious, confused, or dealing with personal struggles. A wise teacher knows when to shift, like adjusting the volume of music, sometimes louder, sometimes softer, always in harmony. In addition, balancing authority and approachability is not only about managing the classroom, but also about shaping students' character. When students see a teacher who is firm yet kind, they learn that strength and kindness can coexist. They see that respect and compassion are not opposites but partners. This lesson goes beyond the classroom. It teaches them how to lead in their own lives, how to treat others, how to balance discipline with empathy. So the teacher not only teaches subjects but also models life skills through this balance. Now, some of you might ask, what if students take advantage of approachability? What if they think the teacher is too friendly and stop taking rules seriously? That is where consistency comes in. Being approachable does not mean saying yes to everything. It means listening, caring, but still holding firm to rules. If a student breaks a rule, the teacher can say, "I understand your situation, but rules apply to everyone, and we must follow them." This shows that kindness does not weaken discipline. On the other hand, what if a teacher is too authoritative and students become afraid? Then approachability must soften it by reminding students, "I correct you because I want you to grow. I am strict because I believe in your potential." This shows that authority is rooted in care. My dear students, the best teachers you will remember in your lives will not be the ones who are only strict or only kind. They will be the ones who were strong enough to guide you and gentle enough to understand you. They will be the ones who demanded discipline but gave respect, who held high standards but offered support, who were leaders and friends at the same time. That is the beauty of balancing authority and approachability. In the end, teaching is not about control, and it is not about popularity. It is about influence, and true influence comes from a balance of respect and trust. Authority earns respect. Approachability builds trust, and together they create influence that lasts a lifetime. If teachers can master this balance, classrooms will not only be places of learning, but also places of growth, safety, and inspiration. So always remember, authority and approachability are not enemies, they are partners, and the teacher who can walk that line with wisdom becomes not only an instructor of lessons, but a mentor of lives.